Picasso's painting Gertrude Stein is a very interesting piece. It's really a hybrid between his more realistic form and the development of Cubism. So let's take a look at it. Now, Picasso, at the time that he paints Gertrude Stein, is looking for a new way to depict form, and he'll find inspiration in primitive Iberian and African culture. Now, this is actually a portrait of Gertrude Stein. You see her there, and she's a great patron of the arts in Paris in the early 20th century. She's the kind of person that you really need to spend time impressing if you want to keep working, because she's the person who's going to show up and buy all your work and give you the kind of money that allows you to create, well, more experimental work. So when we look at it, you're actually seeing two completely separate pieces. The head is a very cubist vision, and the rest of the form is very classical and realistic. After all, the robe, the blouse, the jewel, even the furniture, while it may be simplified, is, well, far from cubist. But the face is cubist. And Picasso at the time would have worked from the background and the clothes and finished with the face. The reason you do that is you're kind of detailing more and more as you move forward. So we see this great disparity between the head and the rest of the form. The head is basically a very simple, planar form. In other words, he's broken it out into simple forms, simple planes. So what has he done here? Well, let's start with the eyes. They're the most obvious element. You'll notice the eyes are separate. He has studied the right eye, or the left eye for her, completely separate from the right eye. You'll also notice the nose seems to have been turned a little bit further than you would expect, but he's captured the profile. Why? Well, think of a small child. When you're drawing a head as a small child, you're going to draw some kind of big eyes, for example, like this. Those are horrible, but you get the idea. There's my idea of eyeballs. Here's sort of eyelids. But you're going to draw something like that. And he's done the same thing here, capturing the nose primarily in profile. The mouth isn't terribly interesting. It's primarily just a line across the lower element of the face. And you'll notice the jaw is shown in two different forms. One from the side, primarily in profile, the other focusing primarily on the form of the cheek, and then just sort of a dull line coming down to the chin. And of course, the chin being depicted as if from above more than what we would expect here. So what he's done is taken apart those individual forms and put them back together with no real concern about their relationship between different elements, between different forms, instead focusing on really capturing the most identifiable characteristics of any one of those individual elements. And this is what kicks things off. He's literally in the middle of this painting when he sees those African masks and gets these cubist ideas. So her portrait, by the way, well-timed portrait, is the first to really take on these cubist characteristics and gives us a sense of how the whole movement is going to evolve.